So here we are. We're going to blast off now with another moves news. There it is right now. Well, I'm not really trying to be cool, and we hold on to things, don't we? I haven't used these glasses in years. The last time I used them. Well, I did some tribute performances of Leonard Cohen's Running Man. Not too long after he passed away, 6 or 7 years ago. I'm both I whatever it was, and that business. I haven't been able to get rid of this, but I have gotten rid of a lot of things, and so when you get rid of things, you tend to have a little bit more freedom. Yeah, it's nice to have things too, but yeah, no, I don't just want to talk about the nostalgia that I have for these glasses and all the performances that I did. And that's all about Gary Beacom, and that's sort of a personal thing. And what I'm trying to do mostly on the Moves News and in Gary Moves is to, yeah, I might talk about myself, but I'm talking about myself because I'm trying to make a point that you can get something out of it too. Because you know, we're both humans, and maybe we both figure skate or we both do sports, and personally, I think that you and I are a lot more similar than we are different. So, you know, the mistakes we can make, the temptations we can have, the superstitions that we can follow, the rationality that can slip away from us at times, you know. We're all humans, and maybe this is part of the utopia, is to have the balance of good and bad, because one does not really have a meaning or definition without the other kind of thing. So I don't know, maybe in some sense you can still call this a utopia. And it makes it kind of interesting because finding out what's real is not so easy. It's really challenging to find out what is true and real. There's so many contradictions there. We've been exposed to information, so much information, and it all doesn't always line up. So it's very easy to be confused. And yeah, so epistemologically speaking, you remember from my last edition of the Moves News that I defined the word epistemology as the study of knowledge. And I suggested that we really don't know very much, except that I know I exist. But you know, that solipsistic idea, the idea that everything, all I know is I exist, and everything else out there is just revolving around me. Well, that's not really so practical in our everyday lives. But how is epistemology? The notion of knowledge and the acquisition of knowledge really quite important for somebody who wants to achieve something in life, and especially athletes and of course figure skaters. Well, you know, we want to be able to process information, and we want to be able to discern cause and effect. So, and this is not so easy to do, is it? You know, if you skate well in a particular performance, you can say that, okay, yeah, I trained so hard this season, and I didn't have any injuries, and I slept well the night before, but you know, and so ultimately, though, it's some contribution of many factors that gives you a result. You can definitely probably rule out that it was because you were wearing your pink and orange socks when you competed, and so that then you're going to wear your pink and orange socks every time when you compete. You can definitely rule out some of those superstitions. And I think this is really one of the steps that you want to take to get to grips with reality. which is what we want to do as athletes. We're faced with reality, right? And we have to face reality. And if you don't face reality, you're not really going to succeed as well. And so, yeah, knowledge or insight, or as I say, we can know certain things with a certain probability. I can say that, you know, if I now what thing I know with a pretty much for certain that if I take off of a jump on a deep edge, I've got a lot of potential for rotation. I am going to turn when I leave the ice if I take off a deep edge. That's something in figure skating that I don't really have very much doubt at all about. So, but maybe there are some things that I entertain only with a certain amount of probability that I believe are true, and so I make my decisions on those probabilities, processing the information that I take in, and deciding which is the best course of action to continue to make the slow and steady progress that I want to continue to make, and which actually I have made in my life. Slow, steady progress, for the most part, in various different ways. Like even if I'm injured or something, I'm going to make progress, and I'm not just going to sit around and party and wait until I get better. I'll do. There's certain many things, like even thinking and sitting up with good posture is something you can do if you have a sprained ankle, right? And I can improve my breathing. I can, there's just so many factors that go into turning out a good performance, whether you're talking for your viewers and subscribers, whether it's that type of performance, or if it's you're lacing up your skates or your ski boots and you're going to go out and do some spectacular thing. You really want to be able to understand what the factors are that contribute to not only success or failure, but as competitive athletes, there's no such thing as success. It's just like how much success. And you want to make, this is something that you're not trying to balance. You're trying to be extreme in your progress and your ability to do difficult things and to master what truly, go in the direction of mastery and in the direction of perfection, greedily in that direction, if you want to become, very adept at something. So, whereas many things we want to find an equilibrium with, for example, not training too much is depleting resources, draining yourself, creating too much lactic acid, creating an unsustainable state of the body, and training not enough. If you don't practice enough, you're not, practice doesn't make perfect, but it does take you in that direction, especially if you practice with, diligently and with your brain. But you don't want to just think, you don't want to just work hard. You want to, as I say, you want to be a good troubleshooter. You want to use your head. You want to be able to think. You want to be able to reason. You want to be able to recall, remember, and process information. So the better your mind is, really, sport is half mental and half physical. Well, no, it's all mental. 100% mental. Nothing is going to happen if you don't have a brain and a mind. And yeah, okay, there's the levels of consciousness. Something that's at the forefront of your consciousness, which is kind of one thing at a time, is different from sort of something that's been sort of ingrained in your muscle memory. But yeah, we want to get to know that, for example, so we're trying to find, we're trying to not only, win a competition or skate our best. We're trying to continue as achievers, as, let's say a purpose, something that helps us get up in the morning. We want to unhypocritically behave in ways that matches what we believe in, what our insights have taught us, what our experiences have taught us, and we want to increase the we want to increase our making sense of our experiences and what lessons we've learned as far as truths that can be had. Well, have I stimulated your brain enough for now? Oh, yeah. So when I do some stretches, actually, sometimes I'll do some really regular motions as, warm-ups, just and trying to get symmetry, so that symmetry and rhythm and balance, just to simplify everything and get a simple motion happening. But often when I'm stretching really kind of like try to find where the pain is and stretching in ways that is not the same on both sides of the body, and it's kind of like particular for a time and a person. So maybe that could be my hack of the day. And here's another hack of the day. I don't know if you call these hacks. Hacks are probably more clever than what I'm telling you, and what I'm telling you sort of makes quite good sense, so maybe it's not a hack. But recently I've decided, I made a practice of putting my socks and my shoes on standing up. And I think this is a good thing to do, actually, because it's a balance test. I have to make sure that I'm, like when I'm skating, I'm thinking often about the feeling under my foot, under the sole of my foot for balance. Yeah, obviously on that slippery surface doing difficult things, but even in your daily lives, and as we get older, we stiffen up. So it's not only a balance thing, standing on one foot and reaching down and putting your sock on while you keep your balance, and having to be able to reach down far enough, and then balancing on the other foot and doing it, or with your shoes. Or also, like if I'm taking a shower and I want to wash my feet, I wash one foot at a time. So I stand on one foot, wash the other foot. So this is just adding a nice little balance exercise into my day. And I like to, as I've said before, I like to do often interspersed throughout my day. I like to find ways of stretching, rolling, jumping, running, keeping my balance, using my brain. So just a few thoughts for you. I have a figure skating mentality, so if I just turn on the camera and start going on a subject, I'm pretty passionate about the subject and pretty knowledgeable about figure skating, and I embrace the sport, and it's a big part of my life. It's been my lifelong career. So yeah, and with a background in physics and philosophy, of which epistemology is a branch, I have studied logic. That's the most important thing about philosophy, is the study of logic, reasoning. And of course, in science, I not only, because I study physics, I understand the relationship between, speed and force and energy and momentum and time and distance and all those sorts of things. But also, because I've studied physics, I understand what the scientific method is. And basically the scientific method, you don't need to go to university to understand to study physics and philosophy, understand what the scientific method is. You learn that in junior high school or high school. But you don't want to just leave it behind in school. You want to kind of use the scientific method a little bit in your daily life and in your sport to help you make progress and to help you face reality. Bye for now.